Welcome, Star Seekers, to the Pleiadian Star Tribe Talk Show. I am so delighted you are here with us today. If you've been feeling that, that unmistakable, subtle hum beneath the surface of everything, that profound little whisper inside that says, hey, there's so much more to the story than just this three-dimensional reality, well, then you are absolutely exactly where you need to be right now.
Welcome, welcome, beautiful light beings. Oh, it is such a profound joy for me to journey with you today. We are indeed diving deep, really deep, into what our source material calls, well, possibly the most exquisite topic of all, Starseed Awakening and Cosmic Remembrance.
Exquisite is the right word. And our mission today, it's pretty straightforward, but also, deeply complex, isn't it? We're taking the source material, this Starseed Awakening and Cosmic Remembrance, and we really want to pull out the clearest, most practical definitions. And importantly, the manifestations of this whole experience. We want to give you, our listener, a kind of blueprint, something to help understand why you might feel different, what actually happens when you awaken, and crucially, how to anchor that higher frequency right here, right now on Earth.
Exactly. That anchoring piece is so vital. But yes, we absolutely have to start with the core concept. What is Starseed Awakening? And the way to define it, I think, is not as gaining something new, but it's like the spiritual alarm clock finally goes off. It's that huge threshold moment in the journey of, well, an old soul. When a really deep, fundamental truth just hits you, Earth isn't your only home, maybe not even your original home. It's more like a really crucial but temporary assignment. And something really foundational inside you just starts to stir, starts whispering, you came from the stars.
I love how you put that, an old soul's journey. That really implies a history, right? A lineage that goes way beyond this one lifetime.
Oh, completely. It's the soul finally recognizing its cosmic citizenship, you could say. It's when that lineage, whether it resonates for you as Pleiadian, maybe Sirian, Arcturian, or, another star family, it starts vibrating louder, becomes more apparent somehow.
Yeah.
And just the immediate physical human experience. And this is really crucial. The source material emphasizes this over and over. This is not just wishful thinking. It's not fantasy. This is about remembering the actual frequency of home. And that frequency, it's pure, unconditional light. So this whole deep dive today, it's dedicated to unpacking what that frequency feels like, what it looks like in your life, and importantly, what it asks of you in really practical terms.
Okay, let's start at the beginning then. Let's unpack that initial stage. The source calls it the call of the stars. Because for so many people listening, this is where the mystery really starts, isn't it? That persistent feeling of just being different. And I think a lot of people mix this up with, just general alienation or maybe loneliness.
Yeah.
How does the source help us distinguish between those?
Ah, yes, that distinction is absolutely vital, especially for you, the learner, trying to make sense of this. So many people who awaken, they share this similar experience. It's like a quiet ache inside, or a sense of being perpetually misplaced somehow. Or maybe it's a really deep, kind of inexplicable nostalgia for a celestial home they can't actually name or point to on any map. It's this profound sense of just not quite belonging here. Like Earth operates on a different set of rules, maybe a heavier energetic law than what your soul remembers deep down.
Not quite belonging. And the source is really clear. This isn't just loneliness, because loneliness is more about the absence of connection with others now in this life.
Precisely. That's the key difference, this feeling. It's remembrance. See, loneliness, you might solve that by making a new friend or joining a group, right? But the cosmic ache, that's different. That's the soul actively missing its highest vibrational state, its true home frequency, where, matter and spirit are totally unified. It's like, imagine living your whole life just slightly out of tune with the universe's big orchestra. That feeling of subtle disharmony, that persistent longing, that's actually your higher self sending you a signal, a pulse, really. It's indicating that your activation is getting close. It's imminent.
Wow, okay. That completely reframes it. It turns the ache from being some kind of flaw into a feature. It makes the longing itself sound purposeful, like it's the very engine driving the awakening. So if this calling is the higher self reaching out, what's the mechanism? How does that work? What kind of frequency is it sending? And how do we even receive it?
Right, the mechanics of it. It's described as a direct, intentional pulse. It comes from your soul family. And it resonates through what the source terms starseed DNA. Now, this isn't necessarily genetic material in the way, 3D biology thinks about it. It's more about the latent parts, the non-coding segments of DNA, what science sometimes called junk DNA, right? Spiritual traditions often suggest that's where the energetic blueprint is held, the memory banks of your soul's entire history. So the calling, it's never random. It's timed perfectly. It's specific to your spiritual blueprint.
Yeah.
It's orchestrated by your guides, your higher self, basically announcing, okay, your activation window is open now. We're ready to connect.
That really grounds the idea of starseed DNA, doesn't it? It makes it feel less like just a metaphor and more like this information storage unit, just waiting for the right frequency to unlock it. Okay, so if someone listening is starting to feel this slow, maybe confusing cellular remembering, what are the first concrete signs they might notice in their everyday lives?
Yes. This is where we can offer some map markers, some signposts. Let's detail those manifestations of the early awakening, the signs that you are actively being called to your purpose. The first one, and this is often the most obvious, is an unexplainable fascination with the stars or cosmic themes. You see people suddenly, compulsively drawn to astrophotography or space documentaries, maybe ancient myths about the heavens. You might find yourself just staring up at the night sky. And it's not just appreciating how vast it is. It's more like this intense internal recognition. Sometimes it even brings tears, doesn't it? Because it feels so intimately familiar, like a place you only just left behind.
It's not just curiosity, then. It's like you said, recognition, a really deep, non-intellectual pull.
Exactly, exactly. And that leads right into the second major sign, a persistent, really deep longing to go home. And the source material stresses, this happens even when your current life situation is materially comfortable or otherwise totally fine. You might have achieved everything society says equals success, a loving partner, maybe financial security, a fulfilled security, but you still feel that cosmic homesickness, that ache persists. It's the spirit longing for unity consciousness, for that fifth dimensional harmony of your origin. It's not about wanting a better house on earth. The discomfort is spiritual, not just circumstantial.
So it's not really dissatisfaction with being human, but more like a memory of a divine experience that's creating some friction with this current reality. Is that fair?
That's a great way to put it. Friction. Yes. Then the third sign, this involves a really tangible shift in how you process energy. Sudden surges of intuition or unexplained energy sensitivity. Your intuition, it changes. It goes from being maybe an occasional hunch to this reliable, constant knowing. You just know things. And furthermore, your empathy deepens dramatically. Sometimes, honestly, to the point where you might feel physically nauseous or totally overwhelmed in crowded places. This happens because the awakening has basically amplified your capacity to process the energetic fields of other people. Your aura, it's like it shed a protective layer, and suddenly you're absorbing all this low vibrational input really intensely.
Wow, that sounds like a huge management challenge, actually. Your nervous system is literally rewiring itself to pick up these higher frequencies. But the planet and most people on it are still running on, well, lower ones.
It's a critical challenge, and it means it's setting boundaries.
Yeah.
That becomes absolutely non-negotiable, just for energetic survival. And then finally, the fourth major sign, and this one is almost universal among awakening starseeds, is the frequent seeing of repeating numbers or symbols. The source material dedicates a whole section to this. It explains that codes like 11.11 or 222.333, they are not just coincidence. They're described as numerical energy packets, little messages.
Like digital signals.
Sort of. For instance, 11.11, that often signals alignment. It means a gateway is opening, confirming you're on the right path. 333 often signifies support and encouragement is nearby, maybe from ascended masters or your guides. These are like cosmic breadcrumbs, right? Laid out by your support team, confirming, yes, the activation is happening. Keep going.
So this initial awakening phase, it's less like a sudden flash of lightning and more like a slow, persistent, gentle pulse. A cellular remembering, as the source calls it, where the light code is just starting to rewrite your internal operating system.
That is the key takeaway for this section. Yes, it's this internal recognition that everything you were taught about reality, it might be incomplete. And the universe is giving you specific, detailed evidence through emotions, numbers, physical polls, urging you to follow that thread, to see where it leads.
Okay, so once that internal operating system starts getting rewritten, what happens to your sense of self, your identity? The source material seems to really emphasize that awakening is fundamentally restorative. It's not additive. It's not about becoming something new.
Yes, that is absolutely the core philosophical pillar of this understanding. Awakening doesn't mean you suddenly gain superpowers or become a different person. It means you are finally becoming who you've always been by shedding all those layers of conditioning, limitations, misperceptions you picked up during your human experience. You're stripping back that 3D identity. The job title, the societal role, the conditioned fears to reveal the starborn soul that's always been underneath. It's like returning to your divine 0 point, your true essence.
And you mentioned earlier, which I found really interesting, that For starseeds, this process is unique because it's both spiritual and biological. Why is grounding this process in the physical body so crucial? And what exactly does that biological shift even entail?
Right. So the spiritual part, that's the expansion of consciousness, grasping universal truth, the knowing part.
Hmm.
But the biological component, that's the actual physical integration of higher light. It's an energy upgrade for the body. Your physical vessel, your body, is literally upgrading itself. It has to handle the increased energetic load of, say, fifth dimensional frequencies. This is the Starseed DNA activation we talked about. The energy flowing through your system is accelerating, and the body has to physically restructure itself to avoid, well, burnout, basically.
So those physical symptoms people often report, the sudden headaches, intense fatigue, maybe new food sensitivities, they aren't necessarily something wrong. They could be symptoms of this energetic upgrade.
Precisely. The source material actually refers to this as biospiritual recalibration. The body is actively shedding dense, low vibrational stuff, physical toxins, emotional baggage, energetic blocks to try and match the soul's rising frequency. This is exactly why things like hydration and getting enough sleep suddenly become non-negotiable spiritual practices. They're essential for managing the upgrade.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So as this really complex spiritual and biological shift is happening, what specific changes in consciousness and perception should someone look out for, as proof that things are progressing?
Oh, the shifts are transformative,
Yeah.
and they tend to be pretty constant once the process really gets going. First, there's enhanced awareness. Especially, you start recognizing synchronicity and divine timing in just everyday events.
Yeah.
All the time. You basically stop believing in coincidences altogether. You just can't anymore. You begin to see, or at least sense, that every person you meet, every challenge you face, every opportunity that pops up is all perfectly timed. It's aligned by the universal field for your highest growth. The veil of thinking things are just linear or random chance it lifts. And you start glimpsing the perfect, almost crystalline structure behind reality.
So it's like moving from being just a passive passenger in reality to realizing you're actively co-creating it with more awareness.
Exactly. Beautifully put. Second, we see a massive shift in emotional and energetic depth. Your empathy deepens immensely, like we discussed. You might find you just can no longer tolerate surface-level interactions.
Yeah.
Or things based in fear. They feel grating. And this heightened sensitivity, while, yeah, it can be painful sometimes, it's actually part of the mission. It means you are now equipped to feel the joy, but also the pain of the collective much more acutely, which is a necessary prerequisite if you're going to offer true service from the heart.
But this heightened sensitivity, it often demands a serious change in lifestyle, doesn't it? If your mission is ultimately to help the collective, doesn't that growing urge to withdraw from all the external chaos seem a bit counterproductive? How does the source reconcile those?
That is such a practical and important question. Yeah. The source material explains it this way. Avoiding external chaos doesn't mean abandoning the world. It means strategic energy management. The behavioral shift often involves this growing desire to withdraw, yes, but specifically from low vibrational environments. The constant noise of mainstream media, maybe toxic relationships, petty drama. It all becomes unbearable because it literally drains your newly activated sensitive energy field.
Yeah.
So the pull towards connecting deeply with nature or starting a committed meditation practice, that becomes necessary, not just for spiritual growth, but for energetic survival.
Yeah.
So that when you do choose to engage with the world, you do so from a full anchored place of love, rather than from a place of being drained or reactive.
Ah, okay. So withdrawal is more like preparation, not avoidance. Got it.
And I assume these personal internal changes eventually start manifesting as external action, as a sense of purpose. Oh, without a doubt. That's the ultimate shift, really. The shift in purpose. Once you start genuinely healing yourself and your own energy field becomes more stable, more resilient, then this strong, really undeniable urge emerges. An urge to help others remember their own inner light, too. It's like the mission statement of your soul finally activates and comes online.
What does that mission statement sound like in this starseed context?
The source material summarizes it so beautifully. It says it's the voice of the soul that whispers very gently, "Wake up, little one, we have work to do." And this connects all those deeply personal shifts we've been talking about to a much larger necessary cosmic function. See, starseeds didn't just come here to wake themselves up. They came to assist in the collective planetary ascension. the shift of the whole planet. So your personal healing, that's the prerequisite for your global service. And the minute you feel that call to serve, even in small ways, you know you've moved from just passively awakening to actively living your purpose. That's the sign you're ready for the next level of remembrance.
Okay, let's move into that next level then. The really mystical core of the journey, cosmic remembering. Once a starseed is activated, what exactly starts to flood back? You mentioned old memories and frequencies returning, but how is this different from just, standard human memory recall?
Right, this is where we get into what the source calls vibrational return. It's quite different. As those light codes activate within you, information starts flooding back. Information from other lifetimes, maybe other star systems, but it's not typically like a chronological memory like watching a movie of a past life, oh, I was a baker in France in 1750. Instead, it's more of a vibrational return. It feels like a powerful download of knowledge, yes, but also feelings, frequency states. You start to recognize soul family energy signatures. You might suddenly understand ancient wisdom or grasp technological or spiritual concepts that just feel intrinsically known, even though you never learned them here.
And this remembrance, it naturally leads people to start sensing connections with specific star origins, right? Like feeling Pleiadian or Sirian or Arcturian. How do we help the listener trust that this is genuine resonance and not just, latching onto a spiritual trend or some kind of wishful thinking?
Ah, such a critical point of clarity. And it's rooted entirely in resonance. That's the key word. The recognition is felt emotionally. It's cellular. It's not just an intellectual idea you like. For example, when you encounter information about, say, the Pleiadians, who the source often describes as the ambassadors of love, focused on emotional healing, the divine feminine. If that's part of your lineage, reading about them isn't just interesting. It's like this internal click, a deep, yes, that's my family. And you might feel an actual energetic echo, maybe in your heart center, or a kind of buzzing in your DNA. It feels like truth. If it were just fantasy, it might feel exciting, sure, but it would still feel external to you. When it's true remembrance, it feels like coming home, like finding a forgotten essential piece of yourself.
Okay, resonance, felt sense, not just thinking. Got it. So if this activation is happening down at the DNA level, how do these energy codes, these vibrational memories actually manifest? Physically and emotionally in daily life. Right. What are the sort of sensory evidence markers, things people can point to and say, that's the code unlocking happening?
Yes, let's get concrete. The source points to three primary, often verifiable mechanisms of code unlocking. First, vivid dreams or really deep meditations that feature celestial beings, or maybe ancient spiritual temples, or even just pure geometry and light. These experiences, they're often characterized by pure light, maybe complex sound patterns or intricate sacred geometry, think mandalas or fractals that seem to pulse with meaning. You might wake up with profound knowledge about, say, healing techniques, or suddenly understand a complex universal law, even if there wasn't a clear narrative or story in the dream. These are seen as direct, high-frequency communications designed to bypass the logical filtering mechanism of the human ego.
So the subconscious mind is being used as a kind of direct gateway for these data downloads.
Exactly. That's a perfect way to put it. The second mechanism involves experiencing physical sensations, things like chills running up your spine, sudden waves of heat, or maybe heart flutters of palpitations, especially when listening to specific tones, certain frequencies, or ancient mantras. The body, remember, is the physical instrument. It's recognizing the frequency. It's tuning in. Certain sounds, especially those using specific solfeggio frequencies like 528 hertz, often associated with DNA repair or even ancient instruments like tuning forks or crystal bowls. They literally resonate with your newly activated codes. We often hear reports of people feeling intense pressure or maybe tingling in their crown chakra or right between the eyebrows, the third eye region. That's the physical feeling of those codes turning on. It's like a key turning in the lock of your DNA.
The body as the ultimate tuning fork, recognizing its own forgotten language through sound and vibration. That's beautiful.
It really is the ultimate instrument of remembrance. And the third main mechanism is strong, often unexplainable, emotional and energetic reactions to natural light and cosmic phenomena. You might find yourself just intensely moved, maybe to tears by a sunrise, or feel a sudden surge of energy just by gazing at a full moon. The frequency of natural light, especially unfiltered sunlight, is believed to be directly stimulating the light receptor cells in your body and also the light codes held within your cellular structure. This isn't just about getting your vitamin D, It's about photon absorption, activating the crystalline structures within the body, which are thought to soar and transmit this kind of subtle information.
This all sounds incredibly intense. Managing these downloads, the physical sensations, the emotional reactions. What's the ultimate goal of all this activation and remembering? It can't just be for a personal light show, right?
No, absolutely not. The goal, while it sounds simple in concept, is perhaps the most challenging principle for the human ego to fully grasp. All these sensations, this unlocking process, it's all bringing the starseed closer and closer to their true operational vibration. And that true vibration, which is the frequency of their original starlight essence, it is the frequency of unconditional love. Every wave of activation is designed to strip away fear, doubt, historical trauma, personal and collective, aligning you more perfectly with the divine blueprint of your soul. This unconditional love, it's not just a sweet, passive feeling. It's described as a stable, high-output energetic state, a state that is absolutely necessary for the next crucial phase, integration and service.
Ah, integration, yes. The practical test after all that cosmic intensity. Because it's one thing to receive the downloads and feel connected to unconditional love and meditation, right? But it's another thing entirely to, well, file your taxes and go to the grocery store while trying to maintain that frequency.
Oh, integration is, and I say this without any hyperbole, the most important part of the entire starseed journey. Because, as you hinted, many starseeds awaken. They feel that blissful linity consciousness, and then their first instinct is to want to check out, to leave Earth, because it suddenly feels too heavy, too dense, too painful compared to what they now remember.
Right.
But we must stress the core purpose here, and it's basically the title of the next chapter in our source material. You are not here to escape Earth. You came here specifically to heal and illuminate it. Earth is the healing modality. It is the laboratory. It's the place where light must learn how to anchor itself into matter. That's the assignment.
Wow, okay. That completely reframes the whole mission again. Earth isn't the prison, it's the destination where the real work gets done.
Yeah.
So if we are tasked with anchoring these higher frequencies here, basically turning ourselves into stable conduits for this light, what are the practical, actionable steps? How do we ground that energy deep into the planet's grid?
Grounding has to become a daily conscious ritual. You simply cannot be an effective anchor if you're constantly energetically floating off somewhere. You need roots. Roots firmly planted in the third dimension, so you can safely project that fifth dimensional frequency outward. So, the first step, profoundly simple but powerful. Spending intentional time immersed in nature and sunlight. The Earth itself operates like a massive crystalline entity, and when you put your bare hands on the soil or hug a tree or walk barefoot on the grass, you're engaging in a reciprocal energetic exchange. It's a two-way street. The Earth literally helps pull down the excess ungrounded energy you might have downloaded, clearing those energetic bottlenecks we mentioned, and in return you receive its stabilizing, harmonizing frequency. It balances you. And sun exposure, when absorbed consciously, not just passively, it replenishes the light codes and really aids in that bio-spiritual recalibration we talked about.
Nature as the ultimate spiritual stabilizer. That makes complete sense. And it's easy. It's accessible for most people. It's a great way to manage the intensity of the downloads.
Absolutely. Secondly, and equally fundamental, focusing on drinking pure water and maintaining conscious breath work. Water, especially pure, maybe structured water if you can access it, is the primary conductor of energy in the human body. If you're dehydrated, the energy flow gets sluggish, and integrating those downloads can feel much more uncomfortable, even painful. So maintaining hydration and consciously using deep, slow breaths, breathing right down into the diaphragm, this ensures that the light codes are distributed smoothly throughout your entire system. The breath truly is the fastest way to unify body and spirit. It's literally the anchor line, available in every single moment.
It's funny how these really basic elemental practices are often overlooked, isn't it, in favor of maybe more complex meditations or techniques.
They are absolutely foundational. You can't build the house without them. Third, and this is so crucial for long-term sustainability on this path, practicing profound self-compassion, especially during moments of intense emotional release. Because awakening forces you to confront and clear potentially millennia of stored trauma, personal, ancestral, maybe even collective. And this often manifests as intense emotional purging. Suddenly fits of weeping for no apparent reason, unexplained deep grief, or maybe flashes of righteous rage at perceived injustice in the world. You must learn to treat these releases like the cleanup crew arriving. Offer yourself kindness, understanding, patience, rather than judgment or trying to suppress it. If you fight the emotional purge, you actually stall the activation process. It needs to move through you.
Healing the past in order to hold the frequency of the future? That makes sense. So the integration isn't about trying to feel good all the time. It's about being willing to feel everything fully so it can finally pass through and be released.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Beautifully said. And finally, number 4, actively building connection and community with like-hearted souls and lightworkers. You're absolutely not meant to do this alone. The source really emphasizes that energetic networking is key. Finding your earthbound tribe, those people who speak the same frequency language, who understand without you having to explain everything, it creates this supportive energetic container. That network amplifies the integration process for everyone involved, and it provides really necessary emotional stability when the journey feels maybe too heavy or isolating or just plain weird sometimes. Connection creates stability. It's not about dependence. It's about resonance and support.
Okay, so if a starseed is diligently doing all this grounding work, connecting with nature, breathing, self-compassion, finding community, how does that physical conscious action actually define their cosmic purpose? Does it require some grand external role or job title?
Not at all. Not necessarily. We have to reiterate this point because it's so empowering. The simple act of achieving grounded awakening is, in itself, a profound service. Your cosmic purpose isn't always externalized as being a famous guru or a published author or a renowned healer, though, of course, it certainly can be. But every single action you take from that place of awakened awareness, whether it's just an act of genuine kindness to a stranger in traffic, or maybe creating art that carries a high frequency, or even a simple act of human creation, like tending a garden or preparing a meal with conscious, unconditional love, that is the starseed's cosmic purpose expressing itself through the human form in that moment.
That is such a powerful democratization of spiritual work, isn't it? It means the work, the purpose, is accessible in every single moment of ordinary human life.
It is the ultimate function, truly. By simply living in this state of grounded, activated, unconditional love, the starseed is successfully anchoring higher frequencies into the collective grid of the planet. Every time you consciously choose love over fear, or patience over anger, or light over density, you are literally changing the energetic output of the entire collective field. Your internal shift creates an external planetary realignment, one person at a time.
Wow. This has been an incredibly detailed, really rich, deep dive into the whole blueprint of Starseed Awakening. Thank you. If you could just synthesize the simple, timeless core message from our source material one last time, what is the essential truth we really need to carry forward from this conversation?
I think the foundational message boils down to this. You are not just a human being struggling through a difficult life. That's only part of the picture. You are light remembering itself. You are the bridge between heaven and earth. Your very existence is the intersection point, where the physical and the divine meet. You are here to demonstrate how unity consciousness can actually function within matter.
You are the bridge. I love that. And how does that individual remembrance, that individual bridging work, translate into the collective experience? What's the profound global effect of just one person committing to this path?
Well, the individual and the collective are utterly inseparable. They are two sides of the same coin. You can think of the collective grid of consciousness as the planet's shared subconscious mind, or energetic field. So every single time you commit to listening to your intuition, or following your inner calling, or healing a piece of your personal past trauma, every time you consciously choose the high-frequency option, you are doing so much more than just transforming yourself. You're actively realigning the collective grid of consciousness simply by introducing a cleaner, higher, more coherent vibration into it. Think of it like a massive energetic network, right? When one node that's used starts shining brighter and operating more optimally, the capacity and the output of the whole entire system benefits. Your personal evolution is planetary evolution. They cannot be separated.
That is a truly staggering call to action and a huge responsibility, but also a huge gift. I want to leave our listener holding on to that final, really powerful affirmation from the source material. Could you share that one more time?
Yes. Please hold this truth deep within your heart, especially during the sometimes challenging integration phase. You are not small. You are not lost. You are a seed of the stars, and your time has come to bloom. Now is the moment. The moment the universe has been patiently preparing you for, and you, yes, you listening right now, you are a key component of this incredible planetary shift.
That is just the perfect way to wrap up our transmission today on Cosmic Remembrance. Thank you so much. Before we close, let's leave our wonderful learner with that final provocative thought, something practical to anchor all this knowledge. We spent some time discussing how starseed energy gets anchored through grounded presence, yes, but also through creative expression.
Yes. Let's focus right there on application. Consider this as you go about your week. What specific, conscious, creative act can you undertake? Just one thing this week. Maybe it's writing down a high-frequency thought or insight. Maybe composing a little piece of music or painting a vision you had. Or maybe it's something as simple as cooking a meal, but doing it with focused, loving intention. What can you do to consciously express your true vibration and actively contribute that unique, loving frequency to the collective grid? Don't just feel the light inside. Find a way to express it. Anchor it into the world through your creativity. Live from the stars, anchored firmly on Earth. Beautiful. Thank you again for sharing your wisdom today. And thank you all for joining us on this deep dive.
Go bloom beautiful seeds. We look forward to connecting with your magnificent light again very soon.